Good afternoon. I apologize for the momentary glitch in the technology here. I suspect it was all my fault, and all my colleagues are standing by to participate in this virtual town hall meeting. So let's get started. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us for this virtual town hall meeting. I've done many town halls through the years, but I've never imagined doing one like this. So let me begin by saying something that I think about and say many times every day. That is that I really miss you all. I miss our students, as do our faculty and staff colleagues who do what they do because of you. Phoebe, Spencer, and I take an hour-long walk on campus every evening at 6 o'clock, and it's our favorite time of day, and it's the most beautiful time on campus, as you all well know. So we can't wait for you to get back here and enjoy it for yourself. These are incredibly challenging and difficult times. I sincerely appreciate your patience, understanding, and flexibility. Times like this also brings out the best in people, and I see that repeatedly on a daily basis, including among our students who have been in touch with us, who've shared their thoughts and ideas and experiences with us, and who have offered special appreciation for their MilSAPS experience and their great desire to be back on campus, back to the classroom, the laboratory, back to the residence halls, back to the athletic fields. We look forward to that time. I want to express special thanks this afternoon to our student leaders in the SBA who have joined us for a couple of Zoom meetings. I really appreciate the time and thoughts of Essence Davis, Nazim Rahat, Brenda McNamara, and Malik Marshall. And I look forward to working together with you and the other student leaders in the days to come. So the plan for this town hall meeting involves a few introductory comments by me, and then I'll turn it over to several of our colleagues who will report on the work of our planning groups. As I mentioned in the campus-wide message back in mid-April, I've established 6 planning groups to help us move forward in all the ways necessary in the days and weeks and months ahead. The groups are commencement, academic programs, community life, budget and financial modeling, technology, and campus readiness. Membership on these planning groups is deep and wide, including faculty, staff, students, alumni, trustees, and several external consultants. And the information being used by the committees is both specific to MilSAPS and more generally available in the public domain and through various constituent networks that we all are part of. You'll hear from the chairs of 4 of our 6 planning groups. They'll provide an overview of their efforts, describe some of the particular initiatives and decisions associated with their groups, and answer questions related to their work. Questions that have been frequently posed in recent weeks, as well as some questions that were submitted by our students following our advertisement about this town hall meeting. If you have questions about the subject matter of these planning groups and what we share today or any other matter, really, I would invite you to submit your questions via the Q&A feature on this Zoom meeting. In the interest of time, we will not try to answer those questions today, but we will instead address them soon in an FAQ format on our website. Before turning it over to our planning group chairs, let me mention a couple of things of interest and set the stage for this town hall. Our Board of Trustees met in a virtual session on April 30th and May 1st. Despite the circumstances, the board was as engaged as always and offered great support and encouragement to our faculty, staff, and our students. I hope you had a chance to read the comment made by the board and the chair of the board, Jay Lindsay, about his support for our students and his eagerness for our students to be back on campus in the fall. 37 of our 40 board members attended, which is really remarkable to think about their involvement and engagement, as did 2 life trustees. The board met, rather than meeting in its typical individual committee sessions, we met in a committee of the whole and covered 3 more general large questions related to finance, enrollment and marketing, and academic and student life programs. There was not that much, there weren't that many action items. We did approve 4 new trustees for the next year. And I'm very pleased to say that we the board approved tenure and promotion for 5 of our faculty colleagues, Professors Beth Hussa, Peter Friedrich, Kristen Tordella-Williams, Nathan Schrader, and Veronique Belil. So congratulations to those colleagues, and some of our students, in fact, and our young alums wrote letters on behalf of those faculty members. So I really appreciate your encouragement and endorsement of their tenure and promotion. The board gave a good deal of consideration to our financial position, but decided to wait until early July to make any kind of revised budget for the fiscal year 2021 because of so many things that are unknown. Shifting gears, I'm pleased to say that we will have an announcement soon about a new vice president for enrollment. We had a terrific advisory committee that did a great job, and they were unanimous in their support of their #1 candidate. I look forward to making an announcement soon about our new vice president for enrollment. Also look forward to our students meeting this person and begin working with over the years. As we announced last week, we plan to return to residential classroom experience beginning August 24th, which means many students will be returning in the preceding weeks. Our RAs, our orientation leaders, foundation leaders, student athletes. It will be great to have you all back in August. We will prepare for the on-campus experience to the very best of our ability in accordance with best practices and advice. We will do the same as we prepare to reopen the campus in the future and look forward to outstanding experience for everyone upon their return. To discuss our campus readiness campaign, let me turn to our colleague Annie Mitchell. Annie is our Vice President for Marketing and Communications. Annie joined us on March 9th. Ironically, Annie has never been on campus when students are here, but I've assured her that they really do exist, and I'm sure she's looking forward to our students' return, as we all are. So let me turn it now over to Annie Mitchell.
Thanks, Dr. Perigin. And I kind of felt like my joke fell a little flat, so I'm gonna say it again just in case you missed it.
Yeah, it really did.
What did the left eye say to the right eye? Something between us smells. So that's my joke for you today. Anyway, I'm really happy to be here. Thank you so much for giving us your time. And I'm pleased to be chair of the Campus Readiness Committee as we prepare to begin the on-campus residential experience in August. Are you guys having a hard time seeing me right now? Can you see me, John? Shake your head up and down if you can see me. Okay, I'm assuming I'm good. Okay. Okay, thanks. To that end, members of the committee include Coleman Bond, representing Facilities and Environmental Services, Carol Lowe, representing Community Health, Deans Demi Brown and Molly Moss, representing Residential Services, Dr. Holly Sipinski, representing Academic Affairs, Athletic Director Aaron Pelch, representing Athletics, Campus Safety Officer John Conway, representing Campus Safety, Julie Daniels, representing Human Resources, and myself, Chair and representing On-Campus Communications. So our committee is hard at work as we all work together to identify how best to position our areas so our students, faculty, and staff can be in a healthy environment upon their return to campus, as well as how we can support the mission of our college, which is to educate all of you and prepare you for life after Millsaps. So today you're going to hear some of what we know and expect, some of what we're working on as quickly as possible, and some things we don't know the answers to quite yet, but we're working on them. So let me start with some of the things that the Campus Readiness Committee is working on right now. So currently, our folks are disinfecting campus facilities in advance of your return to our campus, as well as determining the volume and supplies necessary for ongoing disinfection and sanitization. We're staying current and working closely with local and state health officials to establish best practices for testing, as well as monitoring when testing will become available. We're developing recommendations for on-campus education and training in hygiene and recommendations for social distancing. And let me say that wasn't training in hygiene. We're developing recommendations for on-campus training to include best practices in hygiene. We're determining how COVID-19 will impact the residential and academic experience, and two of my colleagues today will talk to you about that. We're also determining how the NCAA and conference recommendations will guide the upcoming athletic seasons. For your information, the HAC will remain closed this summer, and summer events where social distancing is not possible have already been canceled. We're working on the college's return to work protocols, which I'll talk about in a minute. And finally, we are upgrading our communication strategies, both internally and externally. So now, what do we know? Well, we're excited to have you all back on our campus. We really can't wait. Like Dr. Perigin said, it's pretty lonely without you guys around here. And I've never actually been on campus when students have been here. So we're all very much looking forward to you returning. And to that end, the college is preparing for all staff and appropriate faculty to return to work on campus during regular office hours beginning Monday, June the 15th. Our Office of Human Resources is currently working on and will soon communicate a return to work plan to our staff. But your staff will be back on campus on Monday, June the 15th. Guidelines for employees at high risk or employees with extenuating circumstances will be determined and managed by the Office of Human Resources. Social distancing should be maintained at a minimum of 6 feet. So that means in an office or a classroom environment, separation of desks and limiting usage of common work areas whenever is possible is a priority. Meetings that are unable to adhere to this standard should really be moved to a larger space when possible or should go online. Hygiene should be a priority, as I'm sure it's a priority for all of you currently. All members of the Millsaps community should follow CDC guidelines for hand washing and use hand sanitizer when soap and water are unavailable. Cleaning and disinfecting campus surfaces should follow CDC standards. Now, the college will make every attempt to keep all buildings stocked with appropriate cleaning and disinfecting supplies, which will be made available by the college in each building, and locations of where these items are will be communicated in advance. Now, it's all of our responsibility to communicate to administration if some of these supplies are running low. So unless otherwise directed, protocols for the classroom include faculty members distributing sanitizing wipes to students at the conclusion of classes. Students, you'll then wipe down your desk or your workstation, and similar arrangements will be expected and developed for our other venues, such as the writing center, work study stations, the library, residence halls, and athletic facilities. Face masks will be required and will be provided, but students, faculty, or staff who are able to purchase or bring their own face masks are certainly encouraged to do so. I know a bunch of you have been making face masks during this time, so certainly if you've made them and you want to bring them, we would love for you to do that. Now, face masks should be worn in interactions with the public and in groups, and always when social distancing is not available or possible. And we do recommend that you will wear your face masks when walking across campus. And we are looking to source branded face masks, so you can wear your major pride anywhere you are. Athletic Director Aaron Pelch is working on the plan for the fall, and that includes use of the college's recreational facilities in keeping with COVID-19 guidelines. And he's also working on what the virus's impact will be on our upcoming athletic season. That information will be coming soon. All members of our community, students, faculty, and staff, were all responsible for understanding and recognizing COVID-19 symptoms. All students must notify the health center of any potential exposure and/or diagnosis of COVID-19. Now, protocols are being established by the COVID-19 Campus Readiness Committee for this eventuality. All faculty and staff must notify their supervisor of any potential exposure or diagnosis. And like I already said, education will be made available to the community in the form of printed materials and in-person or video training. Personal understanding and compliance with CDC best practices related to COVID-19 prevention is required. Finally, visitors to campus should be limited, and business and academic travel will be restricted, and by permission of supervisors only, and guidelines in these areas are forthcoming. Now, I realize that there are a lot of questions here. There might feel like there are more questions than answers, but in good news, all of us are working every day to find the answers to those questions. If you have any, please feel free to email me directly, email info@millsaps.edu, and we will keep up with your additional questions as we move forward. Thank you so much for your time. Thanks for laughing at my really stupid joke. And now I would like to turn the conversation over to my colleague, Dean Demi Brown.
Reminder to unmute myself. I'm pretty notorious for not unmuting. But it's really good to see so many of you all engaged in this conversation. Campus is really not the same without you all. Just seeing the names of the participants in this group brings to mind some great experiences we've shared, and I'm excited about returning to campus this fall. One of the things our group that I've been working with is charged with looking at community life broadly across campus, with the goals of reframing and reinforcing the fundamental qualities of Millsaps College, the experience that you gain as students, and how we live as a community together, examining this through and beyond the coronavirus pandemic. We're looking at 7 ways that we're approaching this work, and I think they're important for you all to note. The first of which is to maintain and enhance a student-centered and led approach, always considering the needs of our diverse student body. We're going to focus on the needs of all of our campus stakeholders, including students, faculty, and staff, and remain dedicated throughout the process to the academic mission of the college. Our goal is to create positive, interactive, and energetic experiences to allow for the formation of a healthy community. We want to make sure our communication is clear with you all, and better, so that we all are on the same page when it comes to these complicated issues that we're managing. We're going to utilize our best practices established by our relevant professional organizations, local, state, and federal guidance, as well as our own institutional specific knowledge. And we want to make sure that you all have a great experience and that you become dedicated and committed alumni to the fantastic experience that you're gaining here at Millsaps College. Now, the group I'm working with to look at community life on campus is a very large and representative group of faculty, staff, and students. And I want to share a little bit about who's in those groups so you'll know. And we have some subcommittee work, and hopefully you see yourselves at the center of all of this work that we're trying to do. Ryan Colvin in Career Services is heading our Across the Street subgroup, which is looking at how our community interacts with our critical off-campus constituents. Some of you have internships and engagements and jobs off campus, and we want to make sure we can continue that the best way we can. Molly Moss is looking at our campus traditions and how we create a connected experience from our students from the moment you're admitted to Millsaps to the moment you transition into your alumni role and beyond. Fonda Devereaux in conferencing events is looking at how do we maintain a vibrant community through our public events and our guests and visitors on campus. You all are around, you see the number of guests and visitors that are always on our campus, and how do we do that in a safe and responsible way to you. Elizabeth Henry and Leah Hunter are looking at our programming and making sure we can maintain a dynamic social community for our students in light of all the changes that we're having to go through. Yvette Langdon and John Sewell are looking at our communication strategies really intentionally so we can inform clear, open, ongoing, and up-to-date communication with you all. Aaron Pelch is heading up athletics, and we know how important athletics is to a community because of the number of students that participate in athletics and the number of coaches that are involved. And it's an important part of our day-to-day existence on campus. So we're going to take a look at that in some really meaningful and direct ways. Other members of this work group include Dr. Jenny Luton Yates, your Director of Academic Advising and Student Success, Dr. Stephanie Rolfe and Dr. Nathan Schrader. So we're excited to have those active, involved faculty members in this group. Molly Moss, Leanne Bryan, Reverend Joey Shelton, Jasmika Foster, Cindy Haynes, and Susan Womack are also staff members serving in this work group. But I really want to spend some time highlighting your new Student Body Association Exec Board. They have been fantastic with helping us think about some of these issues, and I'm excited to have them participate more and more in these conversations as we move forward. Their leadership and your communication with your leadership is important through this. And so we hope that they'll be engaging with you. But Brenna McNamara, your new president, Malik Marshall, your new vice president, Dia Fortenberry, the diversity chair, Sarah Springer, our PAC chair, Drew Patel, our treasurer, and Carol Meyer Whitshire, the secretary, are all involved in this work. Their communication with you and through you and to you and back and forth to you about this is critically important. They're your voices in this process, and I want to make sure that you know that they're actually in touch and working with us on these issues. The overall theme of many of the questions that have come forward from you all involve specifics about what the fall semester will look like. The work group that we talked about is working through many of those questions. We're also spending some time educating ourselves on the best ways to engage in this work. Remember, this is new to us also. We know that students are anxious to resume normal campus lives, but we also know the current pandemic will require us to modify our behaviors and actions. Things will have to be different, and we really want you to be active participants in the new expectations going forward. I can say that our goal is to really make sure our campus is as vibrant as ever, but that will come with a new set of individual and community responsibilities focused on educating our community on these new expectations and getting full buy-in from all members of our community, especially our students. We need for you all to participate in what we're going forward in order to keep all of us safe. Physical and social distancing requirements, we're going to have to pay attention to those and be really respectful for those. We know that there are members of our community with vulnerable immune systems, and we have to think about them as part of this process as well. Wearing face masks when appropriate and in social distancing requirements is something that's going to be new for many of us, but we're all going to have to participate in that. New individual and collective cleaning and sanitation responsibilities, and utilizing technology to deliver content, programs, experiences, and services. I know there aren't a lot of details yet, but you'll be getting those soon. On my other screen here, I'm working on a plan about residence life, some expectations we're going to share with people who choose to stay with each other and live with each other. How are we going to do some of the social events that we're talking about? So we're working on that very information right now. Given all that you've heard, I'm going to turn it over to our provost and dean of the college, Dr. Keith Dunn, who's going to talk to you about your vitally critical experience here, which is your academic experience.
Thanks, Demi. Can you all see or hear? John, can you see me and hear me?
I can hear you. I cannot. There we go.
Okay, good. I lost everything there for just a minute. So, good afternoon. I'm pleased to serve as the chair of the academic program planning group as we plan for the 2021 academic year. The spring 2020 semester played out differently than any of us expected, and we adjusted to circumstances beyond our control as best we could and as quickly as we could. Thanks for your patience and your understanding. Please know that our top priority has always been and will continue to be ensuring that you get the Millsaps educational experience you expect and deserve in a safe and healthy environment. Now, at the risk of making my colleagues look bad, I'm going to demonstrate my superior intellect and technological wizardry by sharing my screen for emphasis. I actually think it worked. That's my one trick. I hope you're impressed. The academic planning group will consist of the academic council with input from Susan Womack and Scott McNamee when we need to make decisions and have discussions related to technology. The makeup of this group can be seen on your screen, and I hope what you'll see is there's wide representation for the entire academic program. Every division of the college, every or every discipline at the college through the divisional structure is represented at the academic council, as well as student support, perspectives, the librarian, and the faculty council president. That group is the same group that acted so quickly and effectively this last spring to modify our academic policies, and they continue to guide us through uncertain times with experience, compassion, and vision. That group quickly consists of myself as provost, Kim Burke as dean of the L School, Holly Sipnevsky as associate dean of arts and humanities, Stan Galicki, associate dean of sciences, Emily Nicholson, a math faculty member and faculty council president, Stephanie Rolfe, director of experiential learning and strategic initiatives, Christy Stensis, associate dean for academic affairs, Jamie Wilson, the librarian, and Ken Thompson, registrar and director of institutional research. That group has been charged to set the recommendations and expectations for faculty and classes as we prepare for the 2021 academic year in the wake of the global coronavirus pandemic. More about that later. Focus will be on developing clear mechanisms and criteria for supporting students responsibly in face-to-face instruction on campus and engaging those students who cannot attend on-campus classes effectively through remote instruction. This group will also continue the work on other strategic initiatives such as development of our Pathways program and fully institutionalizing the experiential learning and student-centered pedagogies that characterize a MILSAP's education and appropriately modifying faculty evaluation criteria and processes. The academic program planning group will work in conjunction with several of the other planning groups and will operate within the parameters of the COVID-19 campus-wide assumptions proposed by the Campus Readiness group and endorsed by the executive staff. Annie Mitchell already addressed many of those assumptions earlier in the context of the Campus Readiness Committee's work. Of course, these assumptions and much of our planning work must remain fluid and will be subject to both the progress of the pandemic and to restrictions and guidelines set out by state, local, and federal agencies. While many of the decisions are yet to be made, we're fairly confident in the following adjustments to our normal operations. So I'll talk through those briefly with you. Office hours, advising, and out-of-classroom meetings with students will happen either remotely via Teams or in spaces that are large enough to allow for appropriate social distancing. We will strongly discourage extended face-to-face meetings in small, contained areas, such as faculty offices. Faculty meetings will be held via Teams, similarly to the open faculty meeting we had recently on May 6th. Committee meetings will be held remotely until further notice. Case and writing center consultation appointments will be held remotely. Faculty will be provided personal teaching kits of whiteboard markers or chalkboard in appropriate rooms, erasers, and other class tools. Faculty will come in with their own kits and leave with their kits when they're finished. We will eliminate or limit the use of shared equipment among students where feasible. Where tools and equipment must be shared, we will require students to clean those tools after each use. We will strongly recommend to faculty or even require all course materials and assignments be distributed, collected, and returned electronically. We will work over the next several weeks to adjust classroom, laboratory, and studio capacities to implement appropriate safety and social distancing requirements. We fully expect that these requirements will result in faculty having to modify their teaching strategies to cut down on participant density in the classrooms. We will look at the possibility of spreading out class offerings among the available time blocks. For instance, right now, the 8 a.m. time frame is underutilized, and that allows us to make better use of our larger classrooms for distributing classes among those with appropriate capacity. We will also almost certainly reduce the in-class time blocks by 10 minutes per meeting at the end to provide 20 minutes between meetings so we can avoid large groups coming into or out of the classroom and being inappropriately close. Students will not be permitted to gather outside of classrooms, laboratories, and studios before or after classes. And teaching spaces with multiple doors will have dedicated entryways and exits. Where feasible and necessary, academic buildings will be marked with one-way hallways and dedicated up and down stairways. Study abroad and off-campus courses were canceled for the summer of 20. We will make decisions about the off-campus program scheduled for the interim between fall 20 and spring 21 as the fall term progresses. Decisions about summer 21 programs will be made as early as possible in the spring of 2021. Many accommodations for students satisfying the major experience graduation requirement have already been put into place. I know that many of you are anxious about plans that you had already constructed that got sidelined because of the pandemic. So other considerations are also ongoing. Individual petitions will be considered through our normal process by Dr. Stephanie Rolfe, Director of Experiential Learning and Strategic Initiatives. Students should work directly with their advisors and Dr. Rolfe. As a reminder, we already have in place a petition for counting non-credit bearing experiences towards satisfying the major experience requirement. We will work with you to ensure that you get the experiences you deserve and that you get credited appropriately for your work, even when that work is accomplished in unusual ways and environments. Faculty and course development workshops and training sessions will be offered this summer. Topics will range from effectively utilizing Course Connect to help with specific technological tools and equipment to developing effective teaching practices and pedagogies for blended and remote learning. All faculty will be asked to provide a clear plan for engaging students remotely as well as face-to-face for all classes. Faculty will also provide a detailed continuation of instruction plan for each class in case they become incapacitated. This plan will include archived course material, grade information, and identification of at least one instructor who could keep the course moving in case of emergency. This preparation is a heavy lift for our faculty. It's well beyond our usual job expectations, but we're doing this because it's necessary to ensure the quality of your educational experience. I'm actually tooling up for my own physical chemistry class this fall, and this situation has forced me to completely rethink the entire course. It will be better for the reworking, but it comes at a high cost this summer for all of us. The fact of the matter is, you're worth it. We encourage all students to bring a laptop or appropriate device for engaging coursework online, even when you return to campus. There will be times when students can't physically attend classes for health and safety reasons, and you need to be ready to engage remotely, even from campus during those times. We will keep you informed and up to speed with any changes in our courses and why those changes are necessary. Know this though, ensuring that you have the personalized, supportive, and challenging educational experience you expect and deserve in a safe and healthy environment is our top priority. At Millsaps, students are our very reason for being, and everything we do points to your success. Let me close by congratulating you on surviving and completing the strangest semester on record. You have figured out how to engage in coursework and academic pursuits in spaces with no privacy, siblings and parents sharing both physical space and internet bandwidth, sometimes unreliable connectivity, and technological glitches from our side as well. I know it's been hard work. It's been frustrating and taxing both mentally and emotionally. Take a deep breath and welcome an opportunity for self-satisfaction for a job well done. We look forward to inviting you back to campus when it's safe to do so, and we're committed to supporting your education no matter what the circumstances. We're proud of you, and I'm proud to be a major. I'm happy to hand things off now to Whitney Emmerich, our VP for Finance and Administration.
Good afternoon. Thanks, Keith. Can y'all hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Whitney Emmerich, and as Keith said, I'm the Vice President for Finance and Administration. I will be chairing the Budget and Financial Planning Group. It is probably not surprising to you that the college is being impacted financially by the COVID-19 pandemic. Therefore, my group is tasked with assessing the impact of different budget scenarios and developing mitigation or contingency plans that outline steps the college would take in the event selected scenarios were to occur, including actions that would be needed to reduce the budget deficit. My group consists of the members of executive staff, several of whom you have heard from today, plus Julie Daniels, our Director of Human Resources, and Susan Womack, Associate VP of Advancement and Information Technology Operations. We're also in consultation with BKD, an accounting consulting group, and Jim Coggin, who is the board's finance chair. So the college has taken several financial hits in the current year. We issued room and board refunds in the amount of about $1 million for the portion of the semester that all of you could not be on campus. And as Keith mentioned, all summer study abroad trips were canceled, as well as summer events that we typically host on our campus. There are a few smaller events that would still like to take place on campus at the end of the summer, and as we think through campus readiness, we are considering the possibility of trying to host those events on campus. We have also incurred some additional expenses, mostly technology related, associated with transitioning to remote instruction. On the other hand, we are saving on things like travel and professional development plans that had to be canceled. We have also, unfortunately, put major capital projects on hold, such as the re-roof of the College Center and the renovation of the remaining Baco bathrooms that were planned for this summer. We've completed 6 bathrooms with 5 remaining, and we know this is a much needed improvement for our students, and we hope to get back on track with this project next summer. But our current goal is to preserve as much cash as possible as we head into the uncertainties of next year. As we look forward to next year, things like enrollment and how students will live on campus are key budget assumptions that are not easy to predict in this environment, but have significant budget implications. There will be students that we know can't return to campus because they or a family member have the coronavirus. We anticipate there will be students that will not come to campus out of fear or concern. And there could also be students that we did not allow to return to campus because they show symptoms or their circumstances put the rest of the college at risk. The good news is, as Keith mentioned, faculty are working hard to prepare to deliver their courses both in the classroom and remotely to accommodate your various situations and needs. I did want to give you a quick update on freshman enrollment. We currently have 169 deposits. We have extended the deposit deadline from May 1 to June 1 and believe that we are tracking about a month behind, meaning the deposits that typically come in the 1st of May will not come in until the 1st of June. So following this logic, we're actually on track with last year's freshman deposits and last fall's enrollment. We do know there will be additional costs this upcoming year associated with the things that Annie mentioned, such as cleaning supplies and face masks, but it's important that we operate in the safest environment possible to protect our Millsaps community. Our planning group held its first meeting yesterday where we began discussions about the best approach to review our budgets and consider options for budget cuts. We will work through our plan in the upcoming weeks and share with you as more information becomes available. On a related topic, the college has been allocated $760,000 from the Education Stabilization Fund, which is a part of the CARES Act. Half of these funds are to be maintained by the college to cover the out-of-pocket costs associated with issuing students housing and meal plan refunds. The other half will go directly to students in the form of emergency financial aid grants to cover additional costs resulting from the disruption of campus due to the pandemic. You should all have received a communication yesterday that outlined how the college will distribute these funds to students with a link to an FAQ on our website. Basically, in an effort to get funds out as quickly as possible, but to also address students who have extenuating circumstances that we may not be aware of, we will distribute funds in 2 ways. First, the college will distribute emergency grants to federal aid applicants based on Pell eligibility and expected family contribution. This initial distribution of funds will only require students to confirm that they have incurred extra expenses due to the COVID-19 related disruption as defined by the CARES Act. Eligible expenses include expenses under a student's cost of attendance, such as food, housing, course materials, technology, healthcare, and childcare. If you were included in the initial distribution, you should have received an email yesterday to your Millsaps email address with instructions on how to submit the confirmation. Secondly, the remaining funds will be distributed based on an application process. You can request funds via our online application. After your application is received, we will contact you via your Millsaps email address, so make sure you're checking your Millsaps email address, and either notify you of your application approval or ask for more information. As of this morning, we've already received 35 applications, so if you plan to apply, please make sure to get your application submitted quickly. You can check out the FAQ online for additional details about this process. You will also find an email address, caresfunding@millsaps.edu, where you can submit any additional questions you may have after reading through the FAQs. Our team is ready and happy to assist you through this process, so feel free to reach out. So switching gears just a little bit, I'm sure some of you are curious as to what dining services may look like when you get back on campus. We do not yet have all the answers or the details worked out. However, I did want to mention a couple of things that we can anticipate. Like self-serve options will likely be discontinued for a time period in an effort to keep you guys and our dining services employees safe. We will plan to offer a complete meal at all stations in order to minimize the need for you to move around the CAF and enable better social distancing. If we have less students eating on campus, then we will need to consider reducing the number of stations available. But we will open with simplified but high quality offerings, ensuring that we make the appropriate accommodations for all the dietary needs that we know our students have. And then we'll add stations as demand increases. As always, I'm here and our dining services staff are here and happy to work with you to try to accommodate your needs. So when you get back to campus, please do not hesitate to reach out with any concerns. And lastly, I'll echo what others have already said, and that we are so excited for all of you to come back to campus in the fall, and we can't wait to see you. Our grounds crew has campus looking amazing, and I can't wait for all of you to see it. So I hope you all have stay safe this summer and come back soon. And now I will turn it over to Rob for his closing comments.
Thank you, Whitney, and thank you all for your reports. One thing Whitney did not mention is we've just recently done a renovation of Rubens. We knocked out a wall, opened up some space. There's a new awning, some lights, some new furniture. It's going to be a fantastic place for students to gather in all the ways that we hope we will be able to in the fall. So I look forward to your being back and enjoying that new feature on campus. I should also mention 2 other working planning groups. One is focused on issues of technology, so we want to be as well prepared as possible when you return. And the 6th group, I'm sure many of you heard about this, is involved in our commencement ceremonies. We had a fantastic virtual commencement on May 9th. Really appreciate all the students and staff and faculty that participated and helped put that together. And then there's planning continuing on what sort of celebration might look like late in the fall for our graduating seniors. We really want to celebrate the class of 2020, and we look forward to doing something. We don't know what it is yet, but we look forward to doing something in the fall, and appreciate that committee's work as well. So this time last year, I was working on a draft of a document titled Millsaps College version 2025. Although circumstances in the world have changed dramatically since last summer, I hope and believe that the following introductory statement in that document remains true. It remains true. Let me read this to you. There's an overarching claim made in this document. Millsaps College sharpens our students' raw talent and earned accomplishment for a life of purpose and responsibility. Academic excellence and a sense of belonging drive the educational mission as our students pair classroom and real-life experiences, all in pursuit of career and life preparation that is infused with personal fulfillment and civic responsibility. In ways I would never have imagined, we are indeed pairing classroom and real-life experiences today. But the goal remains the same, helping you, our students, prepare for meaningful lives and careers that are infused with personal fulfillment and civic responsibility. I've often said that one of the jobs of a college president is to be an articulator of reality and a purveyor of hope. Now more than ever, I feel compelled to articulate, to share, to describe, to discuss the realities of the time. But not only to articulate those realities, but to prepare for them, to plan for them. But in doing so, this requires the engagement and support of the entire Millsaps family, especially our students. So thank you for your part in helping prepare for the present and coming realities. And thank you for your part in maintaining hope and optimism for the future. We've enjoyed being with you this afternoon. I hope you will take the opportunity to send questions for us. We will post answers to those questions in an FAQ on our website soon. And we really do look forward to seeing you all back here as soon as possible, if not in August, if not before then. So thanks and all the best to you. God bless.